like a baboon with two corrupt feet. However, I think I can do something with him.
Coming to you from a basement studio somewhere down under, it's the 80s Show with Australia's Retro Man. On tonight's show, Retro Man pays tribute to actor Fred Ward. Well, what are we waiting for? Lights, camera, Retro Man!
G'day viewers, Retro Man here, and welcome to the 80s Show. Now, some sad news that's just broke from Hollywood is that veteran character actor Fred Ward has passed away at age 79. Now, I've been a super fan of Fred's for years. He had a bit of a career in the 80s that was quite interesting.
Not bad.
Now, Fred worked steadily in the 80s, sometimes in a supporting capacity and other times as a leading man. One of his most famous films in that era is this one right here, The Right Stuff. A fascinating film about astronauts. It also has Dennis Quaid, Sam Shepard and others. If you haven't seen The Right Stuff, this is definitely a film to check out. Now, in terms of a leading man role, one that certainly stands out for Fred is this one here, Remo Williams, sometimes known as Remo Williams, The Adventure Begins, other times Remo Williams, Unarmed and Dangerous, it goes under that title. This really was Fred's big film. It almost launched him into superstar status, if only the box office dollars were a bit better. But he does a top job in this one. It's a very, I would say, a James Bondian spy type film. He actually plays a cop that ends up getting trained by a martial arts guy who was played by Joel Grey, Jennifer Grey's father. Remo Williams was actually based on the Destroyer novels and that character, and it's a fascinating watch, full of action, comedy, and there's some great stunts in this one. And the film contains a fascinating action sequence that was shot in and around and on top of the Statue of Liberty. Something else, really something else. So a great one for Fred there. And also we've got Miami Blues. This was shot in about 89, I think. Came out in 1990. It starred Alec Baldwin, Fred Ward and Jennifer Jason Leigh, and Fred plays quite a comical character in that. Really shows his versatility. So I'm a big fan of Fred Ward's. Other classic films of his of note would be Tremors is a great one. That's where he plays opposite Kevin Bacon. That creature feature's a bit of a standout for those that like those sort of films. He also had a nifty little supporting gig in a comedy back in 2000 called Road Trip. And really, he hasn't stopped working. He was in a film with J-Lo called Enough. He's done so many great roles. Yeah, very, very sad news to hear this about Fred. He was a guy that whenever he popped up in a film, in my opinion, he simply delivered. Fred was the kind of guy that could just adapt to any role, and he proved that over the years with countless performances that were on the money. Fred was also great in the Clint Eastwood classic Escape from Alcatraz. Actually, he played one of the prisoners with Clint who try to escape the island. Also, there's Big Business, which was a very funny film featuring Fred with Lily Tomlin and Bette Midler. Fred plays a bit of a country hick in that one and steals the film in a great comedic role. There's also Southern Comfort. He was part of the ensemble cast in that cracker of a film that was directed by Walter Hill, a similar style of vehicle to Deliverance. And we've got Secret Admirer. Who can forget Fred as the overprotective father in Secret Admirer? What a knockout. So yeah, it's always sad news to hear of an actor's passing, and Fred certainly delivered for me. I was a big fan of his over the years, and it makes me really want to just go back and check out Remo Williams, which is the top of the crop for Fred. I really enjoy that film. So there we have it, guys. A little bit of a somber episode today with the passing of Fred Ward. So now it's over to you guys. What films do you remember of Fred's? I'm sure many of you have seen Remo Williams, The Right Stuff. You would have to have seen Tremors. There was another great film called UFO. Not many people know about that one. Fred is fantastic in that film. Fred Ward, great actor. Share some comments below. Tell us what you think about Fred and his body of work. And that wraps things up today, guys. It's been a pleasure. This is Retro Man, living the dream, 80s style. Stay gold.
Thanks for watching. Retro Man will return faster than a boomerang and just as cool as Fred Ward in Remo Williams.
Fred Ward, what an actor. Thanks for the memories, Fred.
Good night, viewers.